didn't see you there. Well, let me tell you all about the history of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I love Thanksgiving!
You just never know what to expect when clowns mix with floats and big balloons are added in to make up one of the biggest holiday spectacles in the country.
I don't remember a year that I didn't watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, every morning on Thanksgiving we wake up super late, eat a big breakfast, and we get to watch our friends who are in it and all the cool floats, and it's just Thanksgiving for me.
It became very special for me in 2001 when I had the opportunity to be a clown in the parade. That's me with my best friend, and you can see my makeup was a little more
intense,
thorough than hers. It was amazing to go into New York and to be part of that so soon after 9/11. It was really just a special time. Yeah, the parade always brings joy to people, but New York really needed to have joy in that moment. So it was really exciting to be part of it. And being a clown, there's nothing more joyful than being a clown.
2 decades later, she's passing the red nose down to her daughter.
So my same friend who invited me to be in the parade in 2001 reached out to me and said, the Macy's parade, they're looking for teen clowns. And she said, would Scarlet like to do it? And I said, of course.
It's just really cool that I can do something with her that's almost like a family tradition. A lot of people don't get to have that experience to do something that their mom loves so much with their mom.
Well, I, for one, cannot wait to watch Rosemary and Scarlet in this year's parade. But before we look forward, let's look back.
The parade was originally started in 1924 and was put on by Macy's employees. It wasn't until 1927 when the parade introduced the big balloons. And lucky for us, we know puppet expert and historian Mancho Lopez.
When the parade introduced puppets, the big balloons, those big balloons were designed and introduced by a man, a puppeteer, a master puppeteer called Tony Sarg, and he called them upside-down marionettes.
Sesame Street and the Muppets have made appearances year after year, and they've been a symbol of keeping ties to the original puppeteering origins of the balloons. Another unforgettable character who has taken to the air many times in many forms is a very famous mouse.
So the Mickey Mouse balloon was introduced in 1934 through a partnership with Walt Disney. When you think about 1934 and the level of complexity of the balloons, it was very simple. Spheres, very round shapes. All of our balloons look like that. Fast forward 2 years later in 1971 when we again came out with another Mickey balloon, much more elaborate, true to character, full color. And fast forward a couple more times, in 2000, we had band leader Mickey, which really led the parade that year, and 2009, Sailor Mickey. So we have quite a history with Mickey Mouse in the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
We couldn't get an interview with Mickey, he's a busy guy. But we got to kick it with another iconic balloon character, the original Red Power Ranger.
Power Rangers has been around for about 28 years now. And for the first few seasons, it was the Red Ranger that everybody's really familiar with. The one that was my character, you know, with the big diamonds on the front and stuff. And the one that's actually in the Macy's Day Parade. I think that's because that's the one that's the most iconic, which is why it's the one that's in the parade. It's the symbol of like what Power Rangers is and was.
Steve's pretty humble when I ask why it was the Red Power Ranger and not, say, the green one.
It was the one that started it all, and that's the one that people remember the most. And I think that's probably why it's the most iconic.
I remember the diamonds and the red power suit. It was like a, wait, what's the Power Ranger move? There's a stamp.
Yeah, you could do it like, well, there's several different ones, but you could start with one like that, and then you take this hand and put it in a fist, put it across your solar plexus, and then the right hand, tuck your thumb in and turn it outward, elbow bent. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But we'll let Mancho give it to you straight.
So the Red Power Ranger debuted in 2014, and he got invited back all the way to 2019. So for 5 years straight, the balloon was part of the parade. I think that one important aspect here is that these balloons actually are like a celebration, a confirmation, a validation that a character matters.
So Mancho, what you're saying is the other color Power Rangers don't matter.
Don't get me in trouble. Look at that.
Just kidding. According to Rick, the real reason is that the balloon is red.
Red is really synonymous with Macy, so we couldn't be happier that it's the red Power Ranger. Red is actually my favorite color, so I can't imagine it being any other color.
With more than 8,000 participants, including the nation's best marching bands, clowns, large performance groups, fantasy-filled floats, giant character helium balloons, and thousands of Macy's employees and volunteers, the parade is a wondrous spectacle of pomp and pageantry.
Regular parade watchers always have their favorites.
Olive Oil was our tallest balloon, and I would argue probably our lankiest balloon. And SpongeBob SquarePants was actually the first ever square balloon, which is a feat of science when it comes to creating balloons which want to be round.
Right, actually that must have been really hard to engineer.
The balloons have actually been an evolution of science and in mathematics and all of those things that are reserved for people smarter than me through the years. And we've really come to a place where we can create virtually any shape through rigging and patterning that actually is able to recreate those iconic shapes of characters.
And then came the pandemic, and everything changed, but not the mission.
There are pinpoints on the timeline of history, right, that we always refer back to. In 50 years from now, the question will be about what happened during COVID. And these are those pivotal moments where we actually shine. And we continued with a parade, a tradition, even when it was next to impossible, because it was so important.
In fact, there's only been one moment in history when the parade didn't happen.
When the parade had to, unfortunately, be suspended due to a shortage of helium and rubber during the Second World War.
When it returned, it marked a turning point for the parade.
So when the parade came back in 1945, it actually was a pivotal moment. Not only was it a celebration of the return of the parade, but it was also the first televised Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And we've been in families' living rooms ever since.
Which brings me back to 2021, arguably another moment in history, another turning point for us all.
The 95th parade, like every other parade, is special in that it's always something new. It's actually a reflection of what's happening in the world.
In a lot of ways, it feels like the year of 9/11 because we're living through such difficult times with the pandemic, a time when I think traditions are more meaningful than ever, but also just we need these moments to be happy and to feel joy, and so we're both looking forward to that.